to do it right. I've been living a lonely life. I've been sleeping here instead. I've been sleeping in my bed. Sleeping in my bed. So show the family all the blood that I would bleed. I don't know where I belong. I don't know where I went wrong. But I can write a song. I belong to you. You belong with me. You're my sweetheart. I belong with you. You belong with me. You're my sweetheart. I don't think you're right for him. Look at what it might have been. Took a bus to Chinatown. I'd be standing on Canal. Marie. She'd be standing next to me. I belong with you. You belong with me. You're my sweetheart. I belong with you. You belong with me. You're my sweetheart. Love, we need it now. Let's go. Whoa, son. Love, let's leave now. I belong with you. You belong with me. You're my sweetheart. I belong with you. You belong with me. You're my sweetheart.
You're listening to Sportscall on Tiger 93.9, WTGZ, Union Springs, Montgomery, and Auburn, and AM 620 WTRP, LaGrange.
You better buckle your seatbelts because it's going to be a show to watch.
From Tiger Communications.
Jackson, touchdown!
For 20 years, East Alabama's sports talk leader.
Swing and drive! Johnson right!
Sportscall.
Oh, what a dunk!
Call in now at 887-3401-MOOCUM.
Right through, he got it!
Or 1-888-9-TIGER-9, toll free.
Struck him out!
And now, coming to you live from the loveliest village on the plains. Sportscall.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome into the Tuesday edition of Sports Call on this absolutely magnificent Tuesday afternoon. My name is Andy Graham, alongside my partner, Randy Lee. We'll be with you for the next 2 hours, taking your calls and talking about everything in the wide, wide world of sports. Give us a call at our numbers here, 887-3401 locally, or toll-free, 1-888-9-TIGER-9. We encourage you to be a part of the program. Let us know what's on your mind. Randy, it is absolutely a beautiful day. A lot going on. Auburn had a big weekend. The baseball team played. The softball team played. Not a lot of good news happened there. Don't really want to focus on that. We'll hit that a little bit later if we have to. But recently one of the Auburn legends passed away, David Langner. And we talked about, we talked a little about to Philip Marshall about the guy. Read a lot of things about that other people read, that other people wrote about him. Some people talked about the way he played football. He was a hard hitter. Other people talked about he was a great guy, a good family man. But every single person that talked about him mentioned one thing, said he was absolutely one of the toughest guys that ever put on an Auburn uniform. So we thought today we're going to have at 4:30 Terry Henley on the program, and we're going to talk to him about a lot of things, but certainly we're going to talk to him about his memories of David Langner. But in honor of David Langner, we thought we would pose a question of the day. That question of the day brought to you by Lee Marketing Group. For signage, tees, web design, and more, call on LNG today at 334-742-0197. In honor of David Langner, who is the toughest SOB to ever play for Auburn? or really let's not limit it to Auburn specifically. That'll probably be, who is the toughest person ever to play for Auburn, but it can be, the toughest person you ever saw play any sport. Football will probably be the majority, but who is the toughest SOB to ever play for Auburn?
Can you think of a better adjective that you could get if you're a football player than to be called tough? I can. I mean, I can't come up with anything I could think of that they would say about me that would be positive. Now, if I had the athletic ability of Michael Jordan, or if I had the athletic ability of Bo Jackson, you could call me special, and I'd be okay with that. But for the most part, the rest of us don't quite have that type of athletic ability. So in that sport, especially football, to be called tough it's a badge of honor. I mean, you're hoping that you're thought of this way. David Langner was definitely thought of this way. We thought it was a great question, and we had so much fun last week. 2 consecutive shows. We pretty much threw one question out there and got through 2 hours with it. Today we'll pose this question. If you don't want to talk about anything else, you're more than welcome to not. You can call in and just talk about Auburn football here on this program if that's what you choose to do. We'll bring up some other topics if the phone lines slow down, but for the most part, we're going to talk about this. And David Langner, we'll start right there with him. We'll have Terry Henley on. He was a tough SOB in his own right, an outstanding player on the Amazons and the 72 team that won that 17-16 matchup with those 2 block punts that David Langner picked up and took into the end zone. Gary Sanders calling the call is what a lot of us in our generation, I say our generation, Andy, you're 37, I'm 36. You may be 38. I could be a little bit off, but nonetheless.
I'll take either one.
We're in our late 30s, so unfortunately we were unable to be there, but we have heard the call, and the call really means the most to us because that's how we play it out in our minds. But the way that we play it out in our minds, talking to our family members that were there or part of that generation, was how tough some of these players were.
Absolutely. And a lot of times you think about toughness, and a lot of people think, well, guys just aren't as tough today as they were back then. And maybe in some cases that might be true. The things the stories that you hear about some of what these guys did and the things that they went through, he was carried off with a broken leg. He came back and played the second half. All these kind of things, players today get, a minor little injury here and they're out of the game. They miss 3 weeks or something like that. But there are still some guys around today that are would fit into this category. And like you said, you have certain athletes out there that they're known for speed. You have certain athletes out there that are known for power. Some people out there are known for their touchdown catches. Some people out there are known for the touchdown misses, the ones they dropped. But like you said, to be known as a tough guy, one of the toughest, that's there's nothing really better and more memorable and more, like you said, a badge of honor to play football than to be that tough guy. And what sets you apart? It's not one single play. It's not one instance. It's an entire career. It's an entire 4 years or whatever, an entire season of a guy that it's like Cal Ripken, it's going and playing and giving your all every single day. That's kind of what sets people apart like this. And I can think of some guys that might fit into this category myself.
I'll talk about a few here in today's generation that I know are tough, and when I watch, and I think that 15, 20 years down the road, our kids will be hearing us talk about them. One, Trey Mason, last year. Anyone that can take the football 45 some odd times and continue to pound it in the middle, and you can point to the hole that he's going for and stay on that field. He was finally pulled out of that SEC championship game simply because, look, he went back in, but he had to come out because he was going to end up 55, 60 carries. And when you saw Cameron Artis-Payne come in and that different burst of speed, he took it the distance and went about 30 yards for a touchdown. But Trey Mason, he wore that shield. He was a tough player out there. And one of the players he was running behind, I'm so thrilled we've got back this year, and a player that I think we're going to call tough is Reese Dismukes there in the middle. Grinds it out, just gnarly. I think he's going to be an exceptionally good NFL player also, but just proud that we got him one more year. Let's go to the phone line. Shadow and Prattville, you're on Sports Call.
Hey, thank you for taking my call. I think I'm going to say William Andrews. and he just molded, and he, for a football player to run the football the way he did, he's the first person that I thought of. And I just wanted to call in my vote there, and I just wanted to vote for William Andrews today.
Well, Shadow, we appreciate your phone call, buddy. We appreciate you calling in every day. You're one of our callers that we can count on, and we can't thank you enough.
Well, thank you. And, you know, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger.
It definitely is. War Eagle to you, and hopefully we'll hear from you again tomorrow. 888-9-TIGER-9, 334-887-3401, in honor of David Langner. And we'll have Terry Henley on the program with us at 4:30 to talk about Langner and plenty of other topics out there. Who's the toughest SOB to play for Auburn, or sports in general out there? Let's run down a couple of them that you and I came up with before we went on air.
Well, just for this, coincidentally, my favorite player growing up, William Andrews. You know, being a kid, you know, at Auburn, I didn't really associate him with Auburn because he played in the 70s and I was just a kid. But as I grew up to, you know, adolescence, he started playing for the Falcons, and I love the Falcons, and you know, he was absolutely, Shadow, you know, is just a bruiser, an absolute bruiser, and you know, played for some bad Falcon teams, you know, and if not for blowing out his knee, you know, would have gone on and probably been, I would say, in the top 15 running backs yardage wise, you know, of all time, but. Just, yeah, absolutely. He's not a guy that came to mind immediately, but a bruiser, William Andrews.
Had those thighs like the Tyler Rose. You had Earl Campbell that had thighs as big around as both of ours put together, and William Andrews he was the same bruiser out there, and left Auburn playing behind two exceptionally good running backs during the Barfield era, and really made his name in the pros.
Absolutely, no doubt. Another guy that came to my mind. And we talked about this earlier, and it is a guy that always comes to mind, is Kurt Crane, you know, the late Kurt Crane. Another guy, sadly, that has already gone on. Absolutely only played for Auburn for 2 years, and yet I think he's second in tackles. You know, I mean, just incredible. I mean, it took Takeo Spikes 3 years, you know, and he only has, I think, a few more tackles than Kurt Crane did in 2. Just a guy that just absolutely the epitome of those Auburn defenses in the 80s.
Roger in Reeltown, you're on Sports Call.
Goes to Mike Colin, Captain Crunch.
Captain Crunch, an exceptionally good player. I think he played at Berry High School, if I'm correct, and we had him talk to a banquet and moved on to the Dolphins and had a very good NFL career also.
Yep, he was the toughest one. Linebacker I believe I've ever seen.
Well, Roger, we appreciate you calling in.
Let's don't call them SOBs, okay?
All right, yeah, we'll call them something else, but we tried to put something out there that gave a little oomph, but maybe it's a little bit too much oomph. That's okay though.
All righty.
All right.
Have a good day.
We appreciate it, Roger. 888-9-TIGER-9, 334-887-3401. We'll take that word off, but we'll throw the question back out there again in honor of David Langner. Who is the toughest Auburn player that you can remember donning the orange and blue? Or you can talk about sports players in general. Andy threw out a bunch of good names. Most of them coming from that Pittsburgh Steelers team.
Well, yeah, I mean, you don't think about toughness in the NFL without thinking about Joe Green or Lambert or Nitschke, you know, these guys. And they, you know, I mean, you see those Pittsburgh Steelers defenses, and you see, you know, Lambert out there with no teeth, and you know, that automatically screams toughness to me. I didn't exactly scream, you know, beauty, but that's about as tough as it gets. Those steel curtain defenses in the 70s.
Kurt Crane's another player. It's kind of surprising now that I think about it. Berry High School is now Hoover High School in Birmingham, and both of those players, Mike Colin and Kurt Crane, were linebackers at Berry High School. So maybe we need a few more linebackers to come in from that great high school. But another name that was mentioned there, and Brett Prtichard was in here with us to start the program off, Takeo Spikes.
Absolutely. Takeo, you know, still around, you know, a guy that was a phenomenal athlete first and foremost. Came into Auburn and really just was at a time really when Auburn wasn't great. Those 90s defenses were not really known for much of anything other than him, being spectacular for what he was and going on to the pros and really having an outstanding football career in the NFL. But absolutely, and a guy, that just when he looks at you, it scares you. I mean, he was one of those guys that you could see pointing people out, barking across the line of scrimmage at people. He put fear into you. He was mean, and he was tough, and also mean.
A player back in the 70s, I think that you could also bring up to Terry Henley. He was a quarterback and has always been talked about as a tough player. Very seldom do you hear quarterbacks being said to be one of the toughest players on the team, but Phil Gargis, I always heard that about him. Yeah,
a little bit before my time, but yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we want, though. We want people to call in and tell us, if you watched Auburn in the 60s, if you watched Auburn in the 50s, who are some of the guys that you remember that you wouldn't necessarily think of? I mean, like most people are going to think about Kurt Crane. Most people are going to think about maybe even a Nick Fairley that was mentioned earlier in our little meeting before. But, who out there do you think is the toughest guy, from maybe your generation, whatever generation that might be?
Let's quickly go back to the phone lines. Got about a minute left here. Spencer in Auburn, you're on Sports Call.
Yeah, I can get my two in less than a minute. From Auburn, Danny Skutek, my reputation in the early 90s, early 80s rather, Pat Dye's first team. By all accounts, one of the toughest Pat Dye ever coached. And then in the pros, Jack Youngblood, I give him credit for having played either an NFC championship game or a Super Bowl with a broken leg. So they get my vote.
Thank you so much,
I think
Spencer.
that deserves it. Yeah, absolutely. To play with a broken leg, no doubt.
Spencer, we appreciate your phone call. Got 3 of them so far, and we got several more coming in. 888-9-TIGER-9, 334-887-3401. Up against our first break, Andy.
Well, we'll be back after these messages. More to come on this Tuesday Sports Call.
Have a real good time with Auburn Parks and Recreation, along with Evans Realty, as they present the 22nd Annual Fishing Rodeo on May 17th. Kids 12 and under, bring your lucky fishing pole and we'll supply the bait. The first 150 children to register will receive a rod and reel courtesy of Evans Realty. Registration is $5 at the 22nd Annual Fishing Rodeo on Saturday, May 17th from 8 to 11 a.m. at the Auburn Technology Park South Lake. For more information, visit auburnalabama.org/parks.
All right, guys, bring it in. Listen up. I want to talk about it last night. Yes, sir. Maybe you had your friends over, huh? Cracked open some icy cold Budweisers. And maybe, just maybe, you had yourselves the night of your life. Well, yesterday's over, boys, but tonight is just beginning. You got a bunch of bonus buds sitting pretty in your fridge. I want you to crack them open, and I want you to mass text all your friends and round them all up again for round 2. I don't want to hear. I do not want to hear. But we're tired from yesterday, Coach. Or the cleaning lady just left. That's what the fool who missed it would say. Gentlemen, listen to me. You need to go out there and live, and you need to do it tonight. Carpe diem, boys. And while you're at it, carpe nightem too. Great times await. Grab some buds.
Enjoy responsibly. Budweiser Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
TK's convenience stores are prepared to help you on your dash home. Whether you need to grab a gallon of milk, bread, drinks, or some cash from the ATM, TK's is there for you. At TK's convenience stores, we work hard to carry those items that you need to grab quickly, and we pride ourselves on high-quality gasoline and clean stores. So don't stress about your evening. Slow down and stop at one of TK's 14 locations to grab what you need. TK's convenience stores, always there when you need us.
It's true. The Big Blue Bookstore stocks Auburn's best selection of textbooks and sweetens the deal with a low price guarantee. But wait, there's more. How about a full-service post office inside the store? Don't waste hours and hours standing in the world's slowest line way on the other side of town. Multitask. Big Blue's collection of Auburn merchandise covers all your bases. AU apparel, gifts, home and auto decor, even stuff for your War Eagle pet. Well, looky there. Now you've got gifts for friends and family, and hey, there's a post office to ship them. Go Big Blue. The Big Blue Bookstore. Winn-Dixie Shopping Center
Center on South College.
Go all in and join Coach Gus Malzahn at the Children's Charity Golf Classic at Moore's Mill Club on June 11th. Proceeds from this tournament go towards the Boys and Girls Ranches of Alabama. And with 4 ranches statewide, these facilities work hard to place abandoned, neglected, and abused kids in a safer environment. It's $250 for 18 holes, $200 to be a hole sponsor, and all are tax deductible. Prizes will be awarded for first, second, and third place winners. There will also be door prizes, raffles, and a chance to win a new car on the Hole-in-One Challenge. For more information, go to www.boysandgirlsranches.org.
Auburn Links is proud to honor the people who keep us safe, the men and women of the military, and the police, fire, and EMTs of Lee County. To show their thanks, Auburn Links is offering you special discounts. Just show your ID, and you'll get 18 holes of the best golf around for just $25 anytime. That's right, members of the military, along with police, fire, and EMTs of Lee County, 18 holes for just $25. Auburn Links wants to thank you for what you do with a great round of golf. Auburn Links off exit 51. Call 887-5151.
Hey, ladies, you don't have to spend a fortune to look like $1 million when you work out at Tiger Iron Gym. No matter what your fitness needs, Tiger Iron Gym has you covered with ellipticals, treadmills, and arc trainers for cardio workouts, and free weights, and power racks to build and tone muscle. Looking for a high-energy group workout? Try a Zumba or cross-train class. Right now, women can join for only $5 through May 31st. Tiger Iron Gym, 24/7, 365 days a year. Next to the Big Blue Bookstore in South College. Remember, no matter how slow you go, you're still laughing everyone on the couch.
Well, that's okay. I mean,
welcome back to the Tuesday edition of Sports Call. I'm Andy Graham. He is Randy Lee. Randy, the calendar says spring, but the temperature outside says summer.
it's hot in here. I don't know what it's like wherever you are in the beautiful world of Alabama, but it is mid-80s, and mid-80s in May, to me, feels like 110. I was down in Florida this weekend. It was 82 on the temperature gauge, and I asked my cousin, I said, is it 95? I'm just not used to it yet. So, but we're glad it's beautiful weather, as bad a weather as we had last weekend.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the magnificent day outside, beautiful day outside. Get out and enjoy it if you can. It is a little warm. It may hit 90 today, and for May, that's quite warm. I can only imagine what it'll be in July. Give us a call, 887-3401 or 1-888-9-TIGER-9. Our question of the day is, who is the toughest person ever to play for Auburn, or sports in general, if you prefer? We've had a lot of good names mentioned so far. We've bandied around several. This is a kind of in honor of David Langer. Hopefully we're going to catch up with Terry Henley in the next segment and get his thoughts and kind of memories about David and maybe about that 72 team. But a lot of great players mentioned. I threw out a name, just briefly that we had talked about earlier, and you mentioned Nick Fairley. Fairley was a throwback kind of guy. He was the kind of guy that that you would say, and you've heard those old timers say, he would go after the quarterback, and after he got done, he'd go after their family. He was a mean, nasty guy.
Those type of players help.
Oh yeah.
That Steel Curtain defense with Joe Green. I think Joe Green had as much intimidating factor on how that defense played as anybody. He and Lambert, those two played together. It's still mind-boggling to me that when you list the top 5 toughest players to ever play in the NFL, you'd probably throw Butkus up there, but I don't think you'd get past those two in the top 5, would you? And they played on the same defense.
I would agree with that.
888-9-TIGER-9, 334-887-3401. Had a lot of names already mentioned. Kurt Crane, Takeo Spikes, Bill Gargis has been mentioned. Danny Skutek been mentioned there. William Andrews, a call-in. Jack Youngblood in the NFL mentioned. Mike Colin. All of those. I'll throw one more out there, and then we'll move on and maybe talk about some other topics. But we'll continue to come back to this. Again, it's Sports Call. We want to hear from you. Whatever you'd like to talk about, Andy and I are willing to do that. Tucker Fredrickson was brought up, outstanding blocker, not only an extremely good athlete from the backfield, but the blocking that he did. And Jimmy Saddle at quarterback ran for over 1,000 yards. during that 63 season where we went 9-1. The linebacker on that team was Bill Cody. He was only a sophomore. All three of those names and that whole team was a very tough team. And the 63 team and the 72 team, they're always mixed together because I don't think the expectation level was high for either one of those two teams.
Yeah, I remember, very vividly back in the, 90s, when Carnell and Ronnie, or either, later on when Carnell and Ronnie came along, people talked about, who's the greatest running back of all time besides Bo, and it was always besides Bo. I talked to some, you talk to these old timers every now and then, and I vividly remember talking to an older guy, and he said, now look, he said, there's a lot of people around here that with white hair that would tell you Tucker Frederickson is maybe the best running back ever played Auburn. And you talked about his toughness, and talked about just what an incredible guy, running back he was, and unselfish to do the things he did, and went on and had a great NFL career. So, I think, at times seems to pass by, a lot of people, and our, ideas change, but those old guys that saw him play, he was something.
John in Montgomery, you're on Sports Call.
Yeah, who was the quarterback back in the late 80s, like around 87 and 88 for Auburn?
Jeff Berger?
Jeff Berger, yeah. He was one of the toughest guys I've ever seen play football. I mean, even his own teammates were scared of him. I mean, he was mean as a snake.
Yeah, one of the best stories, and I was actually at the ball game when we played Florida, and Emmitt Smith was a running back, and Jeff Berger had either got caught cheating or something on an exam, and Pat Dye's reprimand to him was he couldn't start the next game. And Reggie Slack was his backup, and I remember asking my dad, how long do you think Reggie Slack's going to be in the ball game? Dad said, not very long, and Slack went into the ball game for one play, and Jeff Berger was in on the very next play.
But, yeah, I've heard tell that he was one tough guy, and that's who I was thinking of as probably the toughest guy to play for Auburn. And thanks for taking my phone call.
John, we appreciate your phone call, and thanks to all of you. The last several days we've had one phone call after another, and that's what this program is for. Anything you want to talk about, we want to talk to you. 888-9-TIGER-9, 334-887-3401. One thing we're also doing and trying to keep up with as much as possible, Andy's Twitter. And if you're like Andy or myself, I told Andy last Friday, I said, I've never called into a sports call show in my life before I started talking, and I would probably do the same now if I rode around and weren't sitting up here talking, but I would go to Twitter and send a question or send a comment there. So we'll take those questions and comments, and if you don't want us to say it on air, put that there, because if you do, we'll definitely pass it along.
Yeah, most definitely. This is the Auburn Athletics Update segment brought to you by Sarah Honda of Silicaga. On Highway 280, we simply offer the state's best price on all new Hondas and an exclusive lifetime warranty. While we got a minute, I guess we could talk about the disaster that was this weekend for Auburn baseball. It literally could not have gone worse. Auburn was in the midst of a 29-game scoreless streak. Our producer, Justin, and myself went down Saturday and watched the game. Watched a scrawny little guy. Looked like he was probably 5'10", 120 pounds, throwing 66 miles an hour, and we could not do anything with him. Well, we screwed ourselves in the ground so many times.
Welcome to the world of Ross Mitchell and SEC baseball, because he is so deceptive. Last year, as Mississippi State went to a runner-up finish in the College World Series, we had a kid here from Alexander City that was the #1 for Mississippi State, so I became I was a fan of Mississippi State when Auburn wasn't playing. I mean, Kendall Graveman was their #1. He's moving on. He's pitching in the pros now currently. But Ross Mitchell, they'd pull Mitchell in the third inning, whether it was going bad or not. That's how much confidence they had in him. And he has moved into the SEC play this year, and he's done the exact same thing. So we'll come back and talk about this. Let's go back to the phone lines. David in Montgomery, you're on Sports Call.
Hey, guys.
Hey, David.
Toughest guy I can remember was Terry Beasley.
Terry Beasley's a very good player, and right over there in your neck of the woods, correct?
Yeah, Robert E. Lee.
Robert E. Lee High School, and Montgomery produced so many great athletes during that time period, whether it was Sidney Lanier or Robert E. Lee, winning, I think, 8 out of 10 state championships between the early 60s or late 50s all the way to 70, and he was one of the better ones that came out of the city.
Oh, sure did. I went to Lanier with Mike Kelly and Donnie and his brother. Oh, heck, I can't remember the last name now, but they were great players at Auburn, and Mike played quarterback. And he wasn't a starter, but he was a very good player at Lanier. And back in those days, the Lee-Lanier rivalry was just unbelievable.
David, we had a phone call a couple of weeks ago, and I'll present this to you. We got about a minute left here on this segment, but the caller said how upsetting it is to not have a rivalry like that in the city of Montgomery in public school anymore.
Oh, I know. It's terrible. It's sad, really. But I remember those brothers' names was Spigner.
Yes.
Jimmy Spigner, Donnie Spigner. But anyway, a story about Terry is he got his teeth knocked out. I guess it was his front teeth knocked out. They drug him to the sidelines. They put stuffed cotton up in his mouth where his teeth were, and in a few minutes he was back in the game.
Absolutely.
I mean,
one of the
that's pretty tough.
No doubt about it. Absolutely. We appreciate the phone call. We're up against the break. Thank you, okay?
Okay.
All right, we're going to get to our next break, and hopefully on the flip side of this, we're going to have Terry Henley to talk with us. More to come on this Tuesday Sports Call.
Ever wondered what LMG can do for you? The possibilities are endless.
LMG offers custom apparel and promotional products, any type of signage and vehicle wraps, web design and internet marketing, video production, paper products, and more. Visit us online at leemarketing.net. 3 locations to best serve you: Madison Street in Alexander City, Highway 280 in Dadeville, and Frederick Road in Auburn. LMG, success by design.
So, you're a business owner in need of durable, comfortable work uniforms and hats. Or maybe your high school won the section championship and you want to celebrate with custom t-shirts. Or perhaps you'd like matching tees and hats for your family reunions barbecue. At Lee Apparel, we offer you a full-service production facility right here in Central Alabama. From design to printing, every aspect of your order is taken care of here with real people. Find out more at leeapparel.com or call us at 888-533-6758.
With over 40 years of combined experience, SignSource is the premier sign supplier for Central Alabama. From illuminated and monument signs for your business to banners, car wraps, or political yard signs for the individual, SignSource can do it all. We specialize in designing sign concepts that get results. Contact us today at 256-825-0197 or on the web at signsourcenow.com. Go straight to the source. SignSource.
There's no doubt that high school and college athletics rule the state of Alabama. Increase exposure for your business by spending your advertising dollars on the best sports programming in Alabama with Sports Blitz, Sportscall, and the AHSAA radio network. In a sports-hungry state like Alabama, Sports Blitz, Sportscall, and the AHSAA radio network will offer your business the best return on investment. We have packages designed to fit any budget. Call today at 256-794-8223.
Looking for the most comprehensive sports show in Alabama? Catch Sports Blitz live from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Tuesday nights. Join Brett Prtichard, Randy Lee, and Luke Robinson as they discuss the latest in high school, collegiate, and nationwide athletics. Tune in to FM Talk 95.9, watch live on ACN Charter Channel 80, or catch the live stream at sportsblitzlive.com. That's sports with a Z. That's Sports Blitz Live, Tuesday, 7 to 9 p.m.
Sarah Honda of Sylacauga is the region's #1 Honda dealer for 3 simple reasons. One, Sarah Honda offers guaranteed lowest pricing. 2, the best service after the sale with a full service department. And 3, the most money for your trade that dramatically affects your payments and puts you in a positive equity situation. At Sarah Honda, we give you all the incentives and have the best financing options in the region. Price, service, and selection. Shop online at sarahhonda.net or call Dino or Mike at 1-800-NEW-HONDA.
What is LNG? It's a team of professionals with the tools to create a successful marketing plan to help your business grow. LNG has successful designs that get results for the individual and the business. We provide signs of all types, screen printing and embroidery, promotional products, web design, audio and video production, and much more. LNG has 3 locations to serve you in Allen.
What happened? Oh.
Due to overwhelming response, Carl Gregory's. Says it's worth. Plus, on-the-spot financing, even if your credit is less than perfect. Now's this chance to buy at Kelly Blue Book prices, held over for one final week at Carl Gregory's 2 giant pre-owned supercenters.
Welcome back into Sports Call on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon. Andy Graham here with you up till the 6 o'clock hour. We're going to open the phone lines back up a little later, but right now we're going to welcome in a very special guest, former Auburn Tiger running back Terry Henley. One of the, and I mean this in the best way, one of the most memorable characters in Auburn football history. Terry, we appreciate you taking time out and being on the program today.
Well, I'm very honored that you would ask me to be on your show. You know, it's I'm always flattered when people remember so far back that I played.
Yeah, well, that was it was a very memorable time, and that's actually we were talking about. That's our question of the day. We were talking about kind of in honor of David Langner. You know, who was the toughest Auburn player to ever play? And there have been a lot of names that have been mentioned. I'll just ask you, who do you think that would be?
Well, let me tell you what, you know, I told somebody here at the funeral the other day that David was the honey badger before there was a honey badger, except David was the honey booger, all right? And the reason why he would booger you up, I mean, he would hurt you. And toughness was not the word that I would use. I would use meanness. I mean, David was mean, and he didn't care about your name. He didn't care what position you played. If you were standing around, he was going to knock you down. I mean, he was going to knock you down, and he was going to step on you as he was stepping over you, okay? I mean, that's so he was mean. I mean, he was a mean player, but he made some of the biggest big plays of any player in Auburn history. I mean, not only the kicks return, the key interceptions, the knocking the tight end out at Ole Miss, knocking the tight end out at Georgia. I mean, he would hurt you when he hit you, and he will be dearly missed. He will go down in Auburn history as one of the, as you say, toughest players, if not the meanest player to ever play the game in Auburn.
Well, that 72 team was so memorable, and for so many reasons, but they were known for their toughness. They were known for their closeness, and people have remarked about it, and I talked to Philip Marshall just last week, and he talked about how close the team still is. You know, why is that? Why was that team? What was so special about that team that made it to have that unique bond?
Well, I tell you, cold chills just ran up the back of my neck when you said this. I mean, at David's funeral, there was 30-something players of the 72 team. I mean, at the reunion, the last reunion we had 95% of the players that played on that team came to the reunion. And the reason why, I just think you take guys from Childersburg, Alabama, Johnny Simmons. You take Leader-Hatchie, Alabama, where you had a player. All of these small towns around. Harry Unger from Fayette, Bob Ferrier. David Lyons. From Lowndes County. All of these players and they were used to a close-knitness, among them. And then you put them together and you put an outstanding coach with them that made you believe that you could do anything. If you just did not make mistakes and whoop yourself, you could do anything. You take the punter from Sweetwater, Alabama. What a guy. What a guy. He led the nation in punting. If we couldn't move the ball, he punted it 70 yards to put the other team in a bad position for the defense, hopefully to give us the short end of the field and play. A team that never – we led the nation in at least amount of turnovers. We didn't have but 11 turnovers all year. We were the least penalized team in the country. I carried the ball more times than anybody in the history of the SEC carried it at that time and never fumbled one time. It was just a closeness of what the head man put in us, and we like each other. We all liked each other, and that's why that team is still close today, Andy.
We'll talk a little bit about the head man. Obviously, guys like David Laner, like yourself, we're team leaders and instilled toughness and confidence into that team. But it all came from the head coach, I'm sure, to begin with.
Well, there's no question. I can hear him today. Fatigue makes cowards of us all. It rings in your ears. Fatigue makes cowards of us all. And he would never stand for a team that was not in shape and not prepared for a football game. It was just not in his makeup. And he was, as everybody referred to him, we referred to him as the man. Now, the one thing about it, he and I had a special relationship, as everybody's known, and it's been printed. He never used to like to see me before 1 o'clock because he said it always messed up his lunch. So, if I saw him, I had to go in after 1 o'clock to see him and talk to him, So he was a special guy. There's no question about it.
Well, let's switch gears a little bit and then talk about the college game today. A lot of changes. It's changing from the game that you played back in the early 70s. What are your thoughts on the upcoming playoff this year? Do you like the 4-team playoff? Would you like to see something different? How would you change it?
Oh, there's no question I like it. I like it because you get to win it on the field. You get a better chance to win it on the field with these 4 rather than you being shut out at the window like we were in 04, okay? Or like we were even in 58, where you tied 1 ball game. You get to settle it on the field. And I think for right now, I think it's a good format for us to have. It's a beginning, it's a start, so we'll see how it works out. I still think you're going to have some favoritism on this committee. I wish we had people a little more knowledgeable at picking some of it rather than putting an admiral and a Condoleezza Rice on there. If you want to bake a cake, you don't go out and get a ditch digger. You know what I mean? So if you want to pick a football, you don't go out and get who was head of who was on a staff of the president. So that's just my opinion on that. But I think you get a better chance here with the 4-team playoff to win it on the field, and I certainly hope Auburn is in that mix this year.
Yeah, I don't think politics and football ever mixed all that well. But what about the I asked this to another college football player, and I'm kind of interested because I never played college football, but you did. Did you ever feel like you were a employee? Did you feel like college football players deserve more?
I don't know about being an employee. I might have thought I was some kind of being abused, you know what I mean, at times, but I don't know about an employee type situation. Listen, I was born an Auburn guy and I'll die one. I mean, I would have done anything to put on that blue jersey, you know, and I've got the opportunity to do it. The guys that played with me believe the same way. And I hope all of those guys that put on that jersey come to Auburn to play. They want to be an Auburn Tiger, not an employee. They want to be an Auburn Tiger. They want to win for Auburn. They want to love Auburn, and they want to see Auburn succeed and prosper. And that's how I feel about the situation. I mean, this employee crap, I mean, that's what it is. Just some idiot out here with a union, you know what I mean? It was a union. I mean, now that we have laws to protect you under workman's comp and you have laws to protect you, you know, on EEOC claims and everything else, there's not a need for a union. There's not a need. And there's really not a need that I see in this situation.
We've got Terry Henley, former Auburn Tiger great, joining us here on Sports Call. Now, I will confess this. I have some friends that live on the lake, very good Auburn people, and they were telling me this is right after Gus Malzahn was hired, and they had you had in your business come and talk to them, and they were telling me about it, and he said, you know, he was asking you about the upcoming season, and you said, and I quote, he said, Auburn will win at least 10 games under Gus Malzahn, and I remember thinking, man, I hope he's right. What gave you the confidence?
Well, the comment I made was we're going to win them all. We're just going to have two that we're going to struggle with. You know what I'm saying? And the reason I believe in this guy, I mean, you know, he's just got a knack for winning. He's got a knack for winning, and it is hard to deny that. I mean, whether you go to high school, whether you go to Arkansas, when they let him do what he wanted to do at Arkansas, they lose the first 3 ball games at Arkansas, and then they finally let him start, you know, calling the plays, and where they end up in the championship game in Atlanta. You know, it was the same thing when he came to Auburn. I mean, he put in a system, and this is one smart football coach. This is one smart football staff. It's an exciting staff. They got a gleam in their eye. The players are walking around, you know, with a different step on and their beat and their swagger, and they're not arrogant, but they feel like they can win at any time and do anything. And I like that he's instilled that. The fans are excited. You've got people on the other side of the state questioning themselves now. Let them question themselves. You know, we don't question ourselves.
Well, what are your expectations for 2014?
We win them all.
That's as simple as that.
We win them all. Listen, you'll never get me to say that Auburn's going to lose. Will I tell you we're going to have a tough time in Kansas, you know, at Kansas State? Yeah, we're going to have a tough time, you know, but those are the challenges we look at. But do you think I'm going to pick Auburn to lose out there? No way. Do you think the biggest thing is we start off with Arkansas, a bully? That coach is a bully. That's what. And I hope, you know, I understand the Alumni Association out there has already bought him a motorcycle. And after we hang 40 on him, they'll probably be buying him a blonde to put on the back of it. So, you know, Auburn is going to fare very well. The only thing that you've got to keep in mind about this year, we injuries. Georgia had an outstanding football team last year, but in the first 3 ball games they lost 5 starters. Injuries are a big part of the game. If Auburn avoids the injury bug, in which the new I can't call his name, it just went off my head, condition coach has these players ready to play, and if we can avoid that injury bug, they will win them all. They will win them all.
Ryan Russell.
Period.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Ryan Russell. Thank you.
That's absolutely. Yeah. Well, Terry, I cannot thank you enough for being a part of Sports Call this afternoon. Just a fascinating conversation. I always love to hear your thoughts on things. Would love to have you back on the program very, very soon.
Y'all call anytime, guys, and War Eagle to you, and we look forward to seeing you at the championship game.
Absolutely, War Eagle. Thank you so much. Terry Henley, former Auburn Tiger running back, great. Just an all-around character, very loquacious, very happy to have him on the program. We'll be right back. We're going to go to another break. We'll be right back. More to come on this Tuesday Sports Call.
Go with Graceland Portable Buildings for storage facilities and the highest quality hunting and fishing cabins you'll ever see. Graceland blows away the competition with the finest building materials, top quality lumber, and secure metal roofs. And Graceland is so sure that their buildings will move only when you want them to that they offer the strongest warranties in the business. Buy outright or lease to own, there is no credit check required. And Graceland will deliver and set up your new building for free. Look for the G and visit Graceland Portable Buildings on South College in Auburn, or go to GracelandPortableBuildings.com.
Don't give up just yet. All Around Computers can help. 887-7773. They come to you for all your technology and computer service needs. If you don't want to install it, configure it, or even deal with it, All Around Computers can do it all. 887-7773. Do you have pop-ups, viruses, or is your computer running slow? All Around Computers can help you with it all. Don't call All Around. Call All Around Computers today. They come to your home or business for all your technology service needs. 887-7773.
Every Thursday in May, come on out to Town Creek Park for free live music presented by Auburn Parks and Recreation. The 2014 May Concert Series includes performances by Dave Potts, Soul Co., Crossroads, Kate and Corey, and Distant Kin. Bring a picnic, your lawn chairs, and your dog, and relax with your friends and your neighbors. For more information, visit auburnalabama.org/parks. We'll see you out there every Thursday night in May from 6 to 7:30 for the May Concert Series at Town Creek Park.
In today's competitive environment, time is money. Allegra Printing in Auburn has the fastest turnaround. With their state-of-the-art, all-digital printing equipment, Allegra delivers with speed, precision, and quality every time. And their outside sales reps will help you from start to finish, so you don't even have to leave your office. From simple to sophisticated, turn to Allegra, East Alabama's go-to print company for more than 25 years. Visit them in Auburn at 1625 East University Drive, or call 887-3180. Allegra Printing. Quality service, expert solutions, professional results.
Auburn Links is your home for great golf. Just off exit 51, Auburn Links features a beautiful layout with Bermuda grass greens and rolling fairways, all right next to Parkinson's Mill Creek. For the last 20 years, Auburn Links has been providing Lee County with the best golfing experience around whatever your skill level may be. Looking for a fun family activity? Auburn Links has great group rates and membership specials for everyone, and their weekday rates now include Fridays. Be sure to follow Auburn Links on Facebook and Twitter for special deals and limited time offers. Auburn Links on Shell Toomer Parkway. Call 887-5151.
There's nothing like the signature honey glazed spiral sliced ham from Honey Baked. Hey, this is Crystal. From catering corporate meetings to providing box lunches for your next event, Honey Baked Ham is just what you're looking for, including full meals with sides and desserts. Don't forget to stop by our deli for lunch or dinner, open 10 to 7, Monday through Saturday. You don't have to wait for the holidays. Plan your Honey Baked feast today. Give us a call at 741-8411, stop by and see us on Gateway Drive in Opelika, or order online at myhoneybakedstore.com. Honey Baked Ham, perfect every time. We guarantee it.
There are currently more than 265 children in foster care in the state of Alabama who are eagerly awaiting a loving and caring adoptive home, and we need your help. If you're interested in learning more about adopting from foster care and to hear about Alabama's waiting children, call 1-866-4AL-KIDS. APAC will hold an informational orientation on Thursday, May 8, 6 to 8 p.m. at Airview Baptist Church at 2301 Airport Road, Opelika, Alabama 36801. So open your heart and open your home.
Tiger Communications and TK's Valero Store 18 present Fueling Happy Hour. Any weekday, Auburn High and Lee Scott Academy students can present their student ID and get a free fountain drink with a fuel purchase. It's only your high school super shop, TK's Valero Store 18, Dean and Stage Road in Auburn.
Are you looking to take your business to the next level? Haley Red Development has affordable office spaces available in Auburn for businesses of any size. Call Haley Red and get your business started today. 821-8624. That's 821-8624.
Welcome back to this Tuesday edition of Sports Call. 887-3401 locally, or 1-888-9-TIGER-9 are the numbers you can reach us. My name is Andy Graham, alongside my partner Randy Lee. We're going to finish up the first hour of Sports Call today, one more segment. Fantastic interview with Terry Henley. He always has a lot to say and does a great job. Just really a treasure to have somebody with that kind of knowledge about Auburn and that team, and like you see these guys, getting older, and it's just neat to have somebody like that has been through it and lived that and can talk about it.
We're lucky to be Auburn fans and to have players that care as much about their program as we've been able to develop over the year. Terry Henley's one in my lifetime that has talked and had as good a personality as anybody I can remember. I've seen so many different interviews and videos with him, and he's always an upbeat spirit, and I think that kind of rolls over to the rest of us. Bo Jackson and Cam Newton and Charles Barkley. I can keep going down the list, and these are athletes that are as big a names in the world of sports as we have out there. And you never hear anything negative about Auburn University come out of their mouth whatsoever, and I think that speaks highly of us as fans, the Auburn family, the university there, and how much they thought while they were there.
No doubt about it. We've had a great response from our question of the day, and kind of in honor of David Langner. Who is the toughest person to ever play for Auburn, or sports in general for that matter? Had a lot of great names mentioned. Again, a great response. A lot of people put Terry Henley on that list. He talked about it, and I thought it was interesting. He talked about David Langner, not so much as he would say it tough, but mean. Just mean, and it sounded a lot like Nick Fairley. But first of all, I think we got just a few minutes left in this segment. Why don't we throw a trivia question out there? I'm going to kick it to our producer, Justin Clayton, and let him run with that.
Okay. Kevin Durant is the second player from a current Big 12 school to win the NBA MVP. Who's the other?
Good question. 888-9-TIGER-9, 334-887-3401. As I'm checking Twitter here, Joe McAdory, we appreciate him talking with us there on Twitter, and he said he'll throw two names out there. Terry Beasley for the second time. When you hear them multiple times, that tells you how highly they were thought of. And Zeke Smith. Zeke Smith we talked about last week, and we've had a lot of great names that have been thrown out there. And, again, you've got a whole second hour of the program to call in and talk about them. Kurt Crane, Takeo Spikes, Phil Gargis was mentioned, Danny Skutek was mentioned, William Andrews, Jack Youngblood in the professional ranks, Mike Colin, Bill Cody, Tucker Fredrickson. I can go down the list, but a great question, and we're going to try to present something out there to you daily, Andy, that you can call in and talk about, because when I'm sitting at work, most of the time I'm talking about Auburn football or Auburn sports in general. Now, I can sit up here and sound like the smartest sports guru in the world and throw some real knowledge at you, but more than likely I wouldn't be talking about it at work. So here on this program, we're going to bring up topics, and we're going to hear from you. So call in, let us know your thoughts.
We might even bring a water cooler in here.
True.
You get this thing really going. Yeah, I think, I believe it was the 69 Iron Bowl that Beasley was knocked completely out and was dragged off the field, and then came back in and caught a touchdown pass.
And I think that was the same game that Auburn faked a punt.
I guess that's the one he's talking about where he got his teeth knocked out. Maybe it's a different one. If it's a different one, the man needs to be – I mean, obviously, he had a lot of – he was a tough guy. There's no question about it.
Got about a minute left here. Let's go back to the phone lines. Mike in Phoenix City, you're on Sportscall. Yes, Mike, you there with us? Hopefully.
Yeah, a couple of guys that, I don't know, maybe all great, but two tough guys that I remember from my time in school, which was mostly in the Tommy Tuberville era, was on the offensive side was Carl Stewart, because it seemed every time he got football, Tom just moved. And they always had him on that second and short, third and short situation, and he'd always get that first down. And it was just one of those things that it was just automatic. Nobody could bring him down, and he always pushed through the line of scrimmage to get that first down. And the other guy that I mentioned is Josh Stump Thompson, where as nice a guy as he was off the field, he had a real mean streak on the field. He wouldn't let anybody get past him when he was on the defensive line and just blocking everybody that comes away. But I'll let y'all get back to it, and thanks for taking my call.
Thanks, Mike. We appreciate the phone call. Josh Thompson, Carl Stewart, Stump, and he was one of the strongest players to ever play for Auburn, and Sat right there in the middle and could keep it clogged up, couldn't he?
No doubt about it. We're going to get to our break. The music's playing us out. We're going to let you get on with the Fox Sports Report. We'll be right back with more Sports Call after this.
Looking for one of the best.
Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
That center around this subject are steadily on the rise. Get the best of both worlds. Radio and TV sports talk throughout the state of Alabama. To learn more, contact us today at 256-794-8223.
Remove the hard work and confusion from growing your business with brand management and growth through Lee Marketing Group. LMG offers logo design, web development, search engine optimization, social media management, and more. Physical and virtual marketing is an amazing tool businesses need to utilize in today's economy. Stay ahead of your competition and reach new customers. Contact us today, 888-533-6758, or visit us online at leemarketing.net to learn more.
When you're on Lake Martin and looking to own a boat, it pays to know what the locals know. Alex City Marine in Alexander City and the all-new Alex City Marine 2 on Highway 63 across from the Mini Mall is Lake Martin's premier Landau pontoon boat dealer and the area's authorized Suzuki, Honda, and Mercury outboard dealer. Alex City Marine has the industry's best brands and backs it up with the industry's best boat repair with marine certified specialists that get it done right. Whether summerization or a full overhaul, Alex City Marine has you covered. On both ends of the lake, know what the locals know. Alex City Marine.
Before the big game on Saturday, tune in to Saturday Sports Countdown on FM Talk 95.9 from 10 a.m. to noon. Luke Robinson, Randy Lee, and Brett Prtichard break down the day's biggest games and keep you up to date on the latest from the sports world. Call the guys at 256-234-6464 and watch live at sportsblitzlive.com. That's sports with a Z. That's Saturday Sports Countdown, 10 a.m. to noon on FM Talk 95.9.
You're listening to Sports Call on Tiger 93.9, WTGZ, Union Springs, Montgomery, and Auburn, and AM 620 WTRP, LaGrange.
Fox Sports trending now.
Live from Los Angeles, I'm Tom Looney. Slaving over a hot microphone. Kevin Durant has had plenty of scoring titles over the years, but he was missing one key piece of hardware, but not anymore.
The 2013-14 Kia NBA Most Valuable Player is Kevin Durant.
Thunder coach Scott Brooks was like the cathedral the bird.
One of the things when I talk about KD, I always come back to a few things. His work ethic and his commitment. And he strives to be the best possible basketball player he could possibly be. In that pursuit, it is relentless. And he does it with such a pure heart that it inspires all of his teammates and coaches alike.
Okay, we get Mark Jackson, no longer the coach of the Golden State Warriors, and Andy Roser, no longer president of the LA Clippers. He's taking an indefinite leave of absence. Wink, wink. And I'm Looney.
We are one more.
All right, guys, bring it in. Listen up. I want to talk about last night. Yes, sir. Maybe you had your friends over, huh? Cracked open some icy cold Budweisers. I heard that. And maybe, just maybe, you had yourselves the night of your life. Well, yesterday's over, boys, but tonight is just beginning. You got a bunch of bonus buds sitting pretty in your fridge. I want you to crack them open, and I want you to mass text all your friends and round them all up again for round 2. I don't want to hear. I do not want to hear. But we're tired from yesterday, Coach. Or the cleaning lady just left. That's what the fool who missed it would say. Gentlemen, listen to me. You need to go out there and live, and you need to do it tonight. Carpe diem, boys. And while you're at it, carpe nightem too. Great times await. Grab some buds.
Enjoy responsibly. Budweiser Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Listen up, ladies. You don't have to spend a fortune to look like $1 million when you work out at Tiger Iron Gym. No matter what your fitness needs, Tiger Iron Gym has you covered with ellipticals, treadmills, and arc trainers for cardio workouts and free weights and power racks to build and tone muscle. Looking for a high-energy group workout? Try a Zumba or cross-train class. Right now, women can join for only $5 through May 31st. Tiger Iron Gym, 24/7, 365, next to the Big Blue Bookstore on South College. Remember, no matter how slow you go, you're still lapping everyone on the couch.
TK's convenience stores are your gotta-have headquarters. You know, those things you just gotta have but don't have time to waste in one of those huge pack stores. Nope. At TK's, we have your gotta-have items with no hassle, along with great customer service, high-quality items, and clean stores. So whether you need a six-pack of your favorite beverage, milk, gasoline, or some cash from the ATM, TK's has it just minutes from you. TK's convenience stores, now with 14 locations to better serve you, always there when you need us.
The Lee County Master Gardeners Association would like to invite you to their 2014 garden tour on May 17th and 18th. A decade-long tradition that showcases outstanding and diverse gardens around the county, including the Julie Collins Museum of Fine Art, Auburn University, and Auburn University Ag Heritage Park. It's $20 a ticket in advance, $25 the day of the tour, and kids 12 and under are free. And all the proceeds go towards supporting worthy horticulture-related community projects, programs, and scholarships. And for more information, call 478-607-0805 or email 2014gardentour@gmail.com.
Everyone knows the Honey Baked Ham Company is the most delicious ham around. But did you know that we have all the perfect dishes for your summer get-together as well? Hey, this is Crystal with Honey Baked Ham on Gateway Drive in Opelika. Honey Baked is now offering barbecued ribs and fresh barbecued pork roast, perfect for your family reunion or outdoor party. With sides like broccoli rice casserole, green bean casserole, macaroni and cheese, and more, stop by Honey Baked to get everything you need when the family is coming into town. Call us today at 741-8411. Honey Baked Ham, perfect every time. We guarantee it.
You better buckle your seatbelts because it's going to be a show to watch.
From Tiger Communications.
Jackson, touchdown!
For 20 years, East Alabama's sports talk leader.
Swing and drive, mountain right!
Sportscall.
Oh, what a dunk!
Call in now at 887-3401-LOCAL. Or 1-888-9-TIGER-9, toll free.
Strike him out!
And now, coming to you live from the loveliest village on the plains, Sports Call.
Welcome back in, everyone, to the Tuesday edition of Sports Call. My name is Andy Graham, alongside my partner, Randy Lee. We'll be with you for one more hour, taking you up to 6 o'clock. Give us a call at locally 887-3401 or toll free 1-888-9-TIGER-9. We've had a lot of good responses from our question of the day. Who do you believe is the toughest player to ever play for Auburn, or any sport for that matter, any team? We had Terry Henley join us in the first hour, reminisced about the 72 team, his experiences, Coach Jordan, talked a little bit about David Langner and his thoughts on modern-day college football and this Auburn team coming up. It's been a good show so far. Auburn baseball, not so good. Auburn softball, not so bad. Tournament begins this week, but a lot going on. Draft begins Thursday. Kind of a dead time of the year, but we're plowing on.
Well, we appreciate all the phone calls, and again, out there, we're going to try to present a question that you'd be willing to call in and talk about. And if there's a topic that I think most of you, especially us Auburn fans, will talk about, it's one, football. And it's history of Auburn football, because we got plenty of it. So, again, 888-9-TIGER-9, 334-887-3401. Sports Call AU is where you can find us on Twitter, and you can present any questions, comments there as well. And a lot of names we've passed along to you out there as tough players. Kurt Crane's been mentioned, the one player that's been mentioned the most that we didn't even have on our original list. That tells you how much Andy and I know. Terry Beasley has been mentioned numerous times. Carl Stewart was just mentioned. Josh Thompson, defensive tackle, was mentioned earlier. So who do you think? Who's the toughest player you think's ever wore the Auburn uniform, or any other players out there if you want to call in and talk about NFL as well? Let's move into the NFL as a quick topic here. And, Andy, NFL draft, I'm ad nauseum. I can't wait for Thursday to come. I hate to say it. I've had a lot of fun listening in. But enough's enough. I mean, how can you beat something into the ground more than what this NFL draft's been beat into the ground?
Yeah, absolutely. And they moved the NFL draft back 2 weeks. And it used to be years ago when guys came out of college, you looked for who was the best guy, and you looked for measurables. Oh, who's the fastest? Who's the who catches the most? Who's got the biggest vertical? All these different things, which they still do today. But they were looking for positives. They were looking for who can help us the most. Nowadays, it seems like the draft is all about who do we want to stay away from? Who's going to hurt us? What nitpick? What little flaw can we find? Let's extend it 2 more weeks so we can find a little more. We'll take the Wonderlic test. We'll put them through all these different things. All these different tests. And now, I'm like you. It's just enough's enough. Just get it over with. And that might be a good plan. A little question of the day. B. If you were a general manager for the NFL, who would you take number 1? Who would you build a team around?
Who would you like to see Johnny Manziel go and play for? Johnny Manziel has become a player that even us Auburn fans tend to cheer for. I mean, maybe we don't cheer for, but we watch him. I mean, he turns the knob. He is the player that has been talked about more than any out there. So who would you like to see him play for? Because he's a little bit Tiger Woods. When he's playing, ratings are going to be good. You can look at Texas A&M's games during his tenure there. His ratings were always good while he was at A&M, so I think it'll be the same. So when you say that, I would love to see him at Jacksonville. That program needs a shot in the arm from somebody.
Yeah, there's no question about it. That's one thing you kept saying and you kept hearing. Why didn't Jacksonville just take Tim Tebow? If you don't think he's a great quarterback, that's fine, but he's going to bring in tickets. I mean, he's going to sell tickets. He's going to be excitement, at least, a couple of years ago. So, and that's another thing, it's kind of the same situation with Johnny Manziel. Have you ever seen a guy, Tebow, I guess, was kind of like that, but some people talking about drafting him number 1, some people talking about drafting him in the 4th round. I mean, has there ever been that kind of disparity of one guy?
Good question. Let's go back to the phone lines. Earl in Montgomery, you're on Sports Call.
War Eagle, guys.
War Eagle to you, Earl.
Listen, one of my favorites you've already mentioned was Danny Skutak, but also another one is Joe Frazier. Anybody remember him?
Sure Absolutely. Do. Joe Frazier moved. I think he started on defense and ended up as a fullback, and he was an exceptionally good player.
Well, he was one of the best blocking backs we've ever had. I mean, he would tear somebody up. And there was another one in the Keo Spikes mode. Cannot think of his name, but he was a D-back, and he got flagged several times at Auburn for unnecessary roughing. I cannot think of his name.
Well, I'll give you a safety name that we had on our list before the program started, and not a big player, but really laid the lumber when he came in and hit you, and that was Junior Rosegreen. And Rosegreen he was thought highly by the coaching staff.
Well, that was not him, but it was another one. I just can't think of his name. He made it to the NFL, but he didn't last very long. But he was mean and tough.
Travarius Robinson was a guy that would knock you out. That was a safety. He started out, I think, as a wide receiver and ended up as a safety at Auburn and made it to the NFL, came back and as a graduate assistant coach, I think, for a while.
Well, I love all of my old Auburn players, and y'all are talking about all of them today. One of my favorites, of course, is the 72 team. And I was there in school when Shug was coaching, so that time period is one of my favorites. But I love what we're doing now, and I'm looking forward to the season. And War Eagle.
War Eagle to you, Earl, and we appreciate all the phone calls out there. And I think there's a lot more of you that are driving around, riding around in your car, and you want to call in and you want to talk about your era. That's the reason we're going to present questions, because this is what I hear around work. I don't know what y'all talk about around work, but when we're around work, my dad's talking about 70s players, 60s players. This is how tough we were. It's one of those things. And the good thing about Auburn football in those eras is they did a lot of winning, especially in the early part of the 70s. Terry Henley had a lot to do with that. David Langner had a lot to do with that. And Terry Beasley had a lot to do with that. Pat Sullivan was a quarterback, so we haven't mentioned his name, but exceptional athlete there. But we want to hear from you in honor of David Langner. Who is the toughest player to ever play for Auburn or sports in general? And we've had a lot of phone calls so far, Andy.
Yeah, and I'm going to throw out one more name. This was a guy that, speaking of guys in your era, because those are the guys you watch play. A guy, speaking of fullbacks, a guy was Brandon Johnson. Had a jaw, looked like it was made of iron. And the greatest line, one of the greatest lines I've ever heard, I'll never forget sitting there at my house listening to Jim Fife, and he's talking about it in the pregame, and he's talking about how tough Brandon Johnson is. And he said, I believe Charlie was still there at that time, maybe. This is before Stan took over, but he said, Charlie, you want to talk about a guy that's tough. Brandon Johnson gave himself a tattoo with a gym clip. And I almost fell out. But obviously that's pretty tough. But I think he was from Bayou La Batre. I mean, he was just as country as you can be, and as good a blocking fullback. Didn't get a lot of credit. He's not going to be on any great, all-time great list, but absolutely a guy you could count on and would absolutely knock your head off.
And when we're talking about the NFL draft, these are measurables that do not show up when you're jumping, running, Wonderlic testing, whatever you're doing. You don't see the toughness of a football player. And I can't think of, outside of being special, which I said earlier in the program, the Bo Jacksons of the world, the Herschel Walkers of the world, they're special athletes. But I would rather be called tough than anything in playing football. So in the NFL draft this year, the players coming out, there any that jump out to you? One that doesn't is Jadeveon Clowney. He has the one big hit, but his knock is he takes tons of plays off. He's not very tough.
No, absolutely. Yeah, that you look at a guy and, his entire junior year is categorized by what he didn't do, not what he did do. And you can talk about talent all you want, and that's important, and it'll take you a part of the way, but work ethic is wrapped up in toughness. Dependability is wrapped up in toughness. And being there every single play. And those kind of things are what teammates appreciate. Fans and a lot of time coaches and GMs, they appreciate the flashy things, but teammates appreciate toughness.
And those two players are two of the players that we have coming out in the draft from Auburn this year. We said earlier, tough. Trey Mason, couldn't give him the football enough. He did have a limit. I saw him slow down, but it took a whole bunch of carries to get him to slow down, and we rode that train as long as we could. Rode that bus, whatever you want to call it, as long as we could last year, and unfortunately he broke one a little too quick for us in that championship game, if you can say that. But Greg Robinson also, when you turn the tape on, he was meleeing people. That's the reason that heads were turned. We knew what a tremendous athlete he was coming out of Louisiana. He was such a highly sought-after recruit. But until last year, I don't think we saw the real the toughness that you wanted to see, especially at a left tackle that can just be overpowering against opponents. And Greg Robinson was that guy last year.
Give us a call, 1-888-9 toll free, or locally at 887-3401. We're going to get to our first break of the second hour, but join us back. More to come on this Tuesday Sports Call.
When you're looking for the best chicken fingers and wings in town, nothing else will hit the spot better than JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has everything you need to curb a big appetite, and they have all-you-can-eat chicken fingers on Monday night and all-you-can-eat wings on Tuesday night. Any child wearing their City League uniform eats for $1.99 on the kids menu. Check out our Facebook page daily for our dine-in special. Visit us at 145 Alabama Street in Alex City.
Remove the hard work and confusion from growing your business with brand management and growth through Lee Marketing Group. LMG offers logo design, web development, search engine optimization, social media management, and more. Physical and virtual marketing is an amazing tool businesses need to utilize in today's economy. Stay ahead of your competition and reach new customers. Contact us today, 888-533-6758, or visit us online at leemarketing.net to learn more.
S&S Discount Tire on Cherokee Road in Alex City is the Lake Martin area's largest volume tire dealership and a place for everything mechanical. Weary and the S&S Tire crew are ready to serve you with double the capacity from routine oil changes to full engine overhauls and all transmission work. S&S Tire can handle it all. That's S&S Tire on Cherokee Road. Call David or Weary today at 256-215-8822. Visit S&S Discount Tire at 224 East South Street in Dadeville, now in 2 locations.
Videos have always been the best way to teach, amaze, and amuse people. With the advent of YouTube, companies big and small are producing videos that sell, promote, and increase conversion rates. Videos engage your customers, meaning more visibility, more customers, and revenue for your business. How do you get your video to stand out amongst all those customers and garner the most attention? R&B Media Video Production. Find out more at www.rndmedia.com.
Sarah Honda of Sylacauga is the region's #1 Honda dealer for 3 simple reasons. One, Sarah Honda offers guaranteed lowest pricing. 2, the best service after the sale with a full service department. And 3, the most money for your trade that dramatically affects your payments and puts you in a positive equity situation. At Sarah Honda, we give you all the incentives and have the best financing options in the region. Price, service, and selection. Shop online at sarahhonda.net or call Dino or Mike at 1-800-NEW-HONDA.
So, you're a business owner in need of durable, comfortable work uniforms and hats. Or maybe your high school won the section championship and you want to celebrate with custom t-shirts. Or perhaps you'd like matching tees and hats for your family reunions barbecue. At Lee Apparel, we offer you a full-service production facility right here in Central Alabama. From design to printing, every aspect of your order is taken care of here with real people. Find out more at leeapparel.com or call us at 888-533-6758.
Looking for the most comprehensive sports show in Alabama? Catch Sports Blitz live from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Tuesday nights. Join Brett Prtichard, Randy Lee, and Luke Robinson as they discuss the latest in high school, collegiate, and nationwide athletics. Tune in to FM Talk 95.9, watch live on ACN Charter Channel 80, or catch the live stream at sportsblitzlive.com. That's sports with a Z. That's Sports Blitz Live, Tuesday, 7 to 9 p.m.
So, you may not know it, but you've seen our work everywhere. For a combined 50 years, SignSource has been Central Alabama's premier option for all your sign needs. Custom signs for your business, club, or organization. Wraps and decals for your vehicle or boat. Full-color banners for your big sale, or photo collage on canvas for grandma. All with fast, friendly, prompt service. Check out our website at signsourcenow.com. 888-533-6758. Go straight to the source. SignSource.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back in to the Tuesday edition of Sports Call, wherever you are, however you may be listening. I'm Andy Graham, along with my partner, Randy Lee. We appreciate you joining us, whether that be on 93.9, The Tiger, or on sportscallauburn.com. We appreciate you tuning us in. Give us a call at 887-3401 locally or 1-888-9-TIGER-9 with anything that's on your mind. Our question of the day this fine, beautiful Tuesday afternoon is in honor of David Langer, who was an extremely tough guy, and as we talked to Terry Henley earlier, a very mean fellow in his day. Who is the toughest guy to ever play for Auburn, or sports in general for that matter? What do you think? We've had quite a few names mentioned. Randy has given a few of his. I've given a few of mine. It's an interesting topic, and it seems to have piqued a lot of interest. This segment is going to be brought to you by Carl Gregory of Columbus. Visit one of our 2 super centers at North Lake or Victory Drive. Right now, you can get Kelly Blue Book pricing on over 6 lines of new vehicles and all of our used inventory. Take the short drive to Columbus or shop us online at www.carlgregorychryslerjeepdodgegeorgia.com.
Let's go in here and get a trivia question, Andy. We've got a ton of giveaway items to pick up over at our LMG office on Frederick Road in Opelika. And a new thing that we want to do is for each of you that send us a response or a comment on Twitter throughout the day when we're on, we're going to pick one of those names randomly out of a hat, and we're going to let you win a T-shirt and a decal that you can pick up over there. But let's go in there to Justin, our producer. And, Justin, can you throw us a trivia question our way?
Yeah, Kevin Durant is the second player from a current Big 12 school to win an NBA MVP. Who is the other?
So who is the other NBA player from a Big 12 school to win the MVP? Good question. I don't know if I'd get it right.
Kevin Durant obviously wins the NBA MVP this year, received 119 out of 125 first-place votes. Oddly enough, LeBron got the other 6, go figure. Did he deserve it? When you look at these two teams, you look at the Miami Heat, you look at the Oklahoma City Thunder. I don't think either team would be nearly as good without the player, but is he more valuable to the Thunder than LeBron is to the Heat?
Keep that thought there. Let's go back to the phone lines. James, you're on Sports Call.
How are y'all today?
Good. How about you, James?
Doing good. I've got a question. I don't know if I've heard anybody really explain it or not, but the bats they used to use, let's say back in the late 80s and the 90s as far as college ball, how much different was that as far as the spring off of that bat compared to today's BB core bat?
Major difference. From talking to coaches, especially in the college and the high school level, the smaller players, there's just not as much leeway in missing the ball, but also just not anywhere near as much spring. These BB core bats are as close to a wood bat strength as you'll get. So the BESR bats were the bats directly before these, and you can look at the numbers. The numbers don't lie. And especially in college ball, you're seeing drastic changes, but in high school ball, it's shocking to see home runs hit nowadays.
Well, I mean, I know the bats like in the late 90s into the 2000s were just so juiced up and so big-barreled and so springy that, I mean, they had gotten kind of out of control. But I just don't remember, I don't know, the ball exploding off of those bats back in the late 80s and early 90s quite to the extent as what they had, finally gotten around to. So,
James, we had this question, and I've got to present it to you. Do you like it? Do you feel like they've gone a little too far with these bats? Would you like to see a middle ground somewhere?
I think a little bit. I think your 3, 4, and 5 guys ought to be able to hit one out, but your 1, 2s and 7 and 8s ought not be able to hit many out. They might find one every now and then and square it up, but I think what you've seen is that the ground balls aren't as hard, so they don't go through the infield as much. Your line drives, your center fielder's playing about 350 feet as opposed to 370, so even your low line drivers are getting caught by the outfielders because they don't have to respect any of the long balls. So I'm surprised that it's decreased as much as it has, because I thought if you squared up a ball that you ought to hit one pretty good, whether your bat's done down or not. Now, whether it goes out of the ballpark's a different question, but I sure thought that the averages wouldn't have quite dipped as much, nor have the run scoring. But I think some of that goes back to everybody's wanting to bunt, and then you've already given up an out. And, then if you don't get your 2 out hit, then you don't score a run at times. So some of it, I think, is how some of the ball clubs are playing it, too.
Well, James, we appreciate your phone call. It was a topic that we talked about a lot on Friday, and it's one that I think we'll continue to talk about. I don't see them transitioning back to stronger bats, because if they do and someone were to get hurt, the first thing you would hear is, why did they go back to these bats? So I think we're kind of stuck with what we have, and I'm not sure it was the best for the game. Thanks so much. That's James, 888-9-TIGER-9, 334-887-3401. Your thoughts, Andy?
The whole point of the dumbing down the bats was safety. Line drives being extremely dangerous off those aluminum bats, and you can understand that. And like you said, once you go this route, it's almost impossible to go back. But I mean, you look at Aroldis Chapman. I mentioned this the other day. A ball off a line drive off a wooden bat can kill you. I mean, it's kind of a matter of chance. Now, is it certainly more dangerous off aluminum bat? More than likely, yes, that's true. But they're talking about, and certainly you've seen in Major League Baseball, you can juice a baseball, and it can make a big difference. I mean, they always talk about the live ball era and the dead ball era, and maybe college baseball needs to certainly look at that. They're going to the minor league baseball next year, hoping that's going to make some difference. But if you can't juice the bats, juice the ball. I don't know that would change the density of it and be any more dangerous, but maybe it will. I'm certainly not a physicist, but something needs to be done. At least, to me, it just seems like the game needs a little bit more to set it apart, because college baseball is not supposed to be MLB.
You asked a question before we went to the phone lines. Kevin Durant, do I think he deserves the MVP? Yes, I think he does this year, but Andy, I think there's a lot of pressure on him now. to make it to the finals. You may not have to win the finals, but to get back to the finals, there's that expectation. And when you're the MVP of the league, you're expected to get your team there. And Oklahoma City, they get through, but they struggle the first round.
Here's another question. Why do you base the MVP entirely on the regular season? Why do you announce it halfway through the playoffs? Wait till the playoffs are over and see what a guy does if he takes his team to a championship. Doesn't that bear any kind of impetus upon what you base the voting on? I guess it's a regular season award, but like you said, you got a guy like Dirk Nowitzki that wins the MVP and his team gets knocked out in the first round, and he has to go to the mountains for 4 months to get his head right because he's so embarrassed.
888-9-TIGER-9, 334-887-3401. I know we're up against a break, but I want to throw a couple of names out there. Again, I want to get through this list before the end of the program as our question of the day. In honor of David Langner, who's the toughest football player to ever play for Auburn or sports in general? For that, we'd love to hear from you. A couple of names that we had before we started the program that we have yet to hear throughout this program today. Andre Bruce, Doug Smith, Lee Zimba was an offensive lineman that had a mean streak also. That's just 3 more names, so we're just trying to fuel the fire a little bit out there, and we'd love to hear from you.
Going to get to our bottom of the hour break, but stay with us. More to come on this Tuesday Sports Call.
You what you want to see and take you where you want to be. You could be my love. Even if the sky is falling down, I know that we'll be safe and sound. We're safe and sound. I can feel your cup. You know I really want to evaporate. This world we still appreciate. Could be my luck. Even in a hurricane of times, I know that we'll be safe and sound.
It's true. The Big Blue Bookstore stocks Auburn's best selection of textbooks and sweetens the deal with a low price guarantee. But wait, there's more. How about a full-service post office inside the store? Don't waste hours and hours standing in the world's slowest line way on the other side of town. Multitask. Big Blue's collection of Auburn merchandise covers all your bases. AU apparel, gifts, home and auto decor, even stuff for your War Eagle pet. Well, looky there. Now you've got gifts for friends and family, and hey, there's a post office to ship them. Go Big Blue. The Big Blue Bookstore. Winn-Dixie Shopping Center on South College.
It was just one of those days. I had a million things to do. This was the last thing I was expecting.
No matter how well you drive, things happen. And when they do, the ASE certified technicians at Franklin Tire and Auto know there's only one way to fix it, the right way. From accident repair to factory scheduled maintenance, Franklin Tire will give you honest, dependable service at a competitive price. Proudly serving the area since 1970 and still locally owned and operated.
No shortcuts, no compromise, and friendly service every time. Franklin Tire and Auto in Auburn, 821-4572 and FranklinAutoInc.com.
Known for over 30 years as the Super 6, Auburn Bank's drive-thru on North Gay Street in downtown Auburn is now open at its new location right across the street next to the main office campus. More efficient and designed to make banking easier for you. A walk-up teller window, 5 drive-thru windows, and a drive-thru ATM. It's everything you need in one convenient location. Auburn Bank's new Super 6 at the downtown office campus. Open now. Auburn Bank, since 1907, your partner, your neighbor, your friend. Member FDIC.
In today's competitive environment, time is money. Allegra Printing in Auburn has the fastest turnaround. With their state-of-the-art, all-digital printing equipment, Allegra delivers with speed, precision, and quality every time. And their outside sales reps will help you from start to finish, so you don't even have to leave your office. From simple to sophisticated, turn to Allegra, East Alabama's go-to print company for more than 25 years. Visit them in Auburn at 1625 East University Drive, or call 887-3180. Allegra Printing. Quality service, expert solutions, professional results.
Auburn Links is proud to honor the people who keep us safe, the men and women of the military, and the police, fire, and EMTs of Lee County. To show their thanks, Auburn Links is offering you special discounts. Just show your ID, and you'll get 18 holes of the best golf around for just $25 anytime. That's right, members of the military, along with police, fire, and EMTs of Lee County, 18 holes for just $25. Auburn Links wants to thank you for what you do with a great round of golf. Auburn Links off exit 51. Call 887-5151.
There's nothing like the signature honey glazed spiral sliced ham from Honey Baked. Hey, this is Crystal. From catering corporate meetings to providing boxed lunches for your next event, Honey Baked Ham is just what you're looking for, including full meals with sides and desserts. Don't forget to stop by our deli for lunch or dinner, open 10 to 7, Monday through Saturday. You don't have to wait for the holidays. Plan your Honey Baked feast today. Give us a call at 741-8411, stop by and see us on Gateway Drive in Opelika, or order online at myhoneybakestore.com. Honey Baked Ham, perfect every time. We guarantee it.
This is a referral service. Calls will be routed to an independent referral insurance agency. Do you know the number one cause of bankruptcy? No, it's not losing your job or running up credit card debt. It's not even divorce. It's medical costs. If you and your family don't have health insurance, just one serious illness or accident could be financially devastating. But now there's good news, really good news. A health insurance hotline has been established to provide health insurance for all Americans, even uninsured Americans with pre-existing conditions. Now anyone can get health insurance even if you have a pre-existing medical condition. I repeat, now anyone can get health insurance coverage. Call now for a free no-obligation quote on affordable health plans available to you. Again, this is a free hotline for anyone, even if you have pre-existing conditions. Protect you and your family from sudden unexpected medical costs. Call the free health insurance hotline right now at 1-800-842-1835. That's 1-800-842-1835. Call 1-800-842-1835.
Welcome back into Sports Call on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon. Andy Graham and Randy Lee with you for two more segments, taking you up to the 6 o'clock hour. 887-3401 locally, or 1-888-9-TIGER-9 is our number. Give us a call. Let us know what's on your mind, or you can respond to our question of the day. Who is the toughest football player ever to play at Auburn, or any sport for that matter? What's your opinion?
Leroy, you're on Sports Call.
This afternoon.
Good to hear from you, Leroy.
Yeah, one of the toughest little men I ever seen at Auburn was Carlos Cheatham. Tennessee came to town one Saturday. It's been a few years back. Had a big running back, Reggie Cobb, and Cheatham hit him on a little flare-out pass behind the line of scrimmage and just depleted him. And he never was the same the rest of the year, Cobb wasn't.
Yeah, I remember that play clearly in the mid-'80s, and that was one that was replayed even back in the day when you didn't have social media and you didn't have constant replays on ESPN like you see today. I still remember seeing that one over and over again.
Yeah, it would compare to Clowney's hit, and then Smokey Hodge hit Tim Worley in Georgia on a 4th and 1. They were coming back to beat us in the fourth quarter, and you could hear the leather pop up in the stands. It was the most awesome hit I've ever seen in football. To me, it was better than Clowney.
It was. Leroy, it's a great question. Do you remember watching David Langner play? Did you have that same opinion of him?
Yes, sir. I was in Alabama when he run those touchdowns back.
Well, it was a great game. It was a great day, and he was an outstanding player. And we can't thank you enough for your phone call, Leroy.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right.
Go ahead.
Let's go back to the phone lines. Tommy in Montgomery, you're on Sports Call.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Tommy.
Hey, y'all pretty much covered it, I think, on Auburn. Brandon Johnson was one I was certainly thinking of. A couple of others, I'd add Kevin Green, although Kevin didn't have the all-star season at Auburn, but he became quite an NFL player. And then I'd also add Jason Miska.
Yeah, Jason Miska was a tackling machine and was a walk-on originally and didn't weigh a lot. It was a lot like Greg Carr. We had Greg Carr named a little bit earlier, and Miska reminds me of him a little bit.
Yeah, and then non-Auburn, but NFL, I think you have to include Jack Lambert. You guys might be too young to remember Jack Lambert, but he played for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he was on the cover of Sports Illustrated in the mid-'70s, and he was snaggletooth with a nosebleed and a black eye. And then also Mike Ditka. Dick Butkus. Dick Butkus.
Did good work too. He was a tough guy as well.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thanks so much, yeah, and we appreciate your phone call, Tommy, and we appreciate all of you calling in honor of David Langner. And we had Terry Henley on the program at 4:30, and he talked a little bit about Langner, also talked about a lot of other great players on that 72 team. Who was the toughest player that you can remember to play for Auburn? Or you can bring up sports in general, and we'll go back to the phone lines. Another name you and I brought up, Ronnie Lott.
Absolutely.
Ronnie Lott made a hit against Ickey Woods in that Super Bowl and about knocked Lott out, but it also took Ickey Woods out of what we were seeing him do for the Bengals a majority of that year. So Ronnie Lott, one of the toughest that we've ever seen.
Cut off his own finger to go back into the game.
We've had
some
crazy stories like that. Dan in Auburn, you're on Sports Call.
I'm not saying this is the toughest guy ever, but it's just an Auburn player. I remember that just, made some incredible hits. I don't know if y'all mentioned it, but Fred Smith, he played cornerback, I guess about maybe 15 years ago.
Fred Smith, we have not mentioned him. I think he's from Eufaula High School or somewhere in that neck of the woods. And Fred Smith played a little offense, moved over to defense, and that entire secondary was good.
Yeah, I just remember the one play, I think it was a Mississippi State quarterback, was scrambling, and he was running down the field, running full speed, and Fred was basically stopped. And then the guy hit him full speed, and he just stood him up and put him right on his back. He was running right at him full speed, and he was just standing there. And the guy was just one tough dude. So just something I remember.
Dan, thank you so much. Yeah, we appreciate your phone call, and that's all it takes. We'd love to hear from you. Twitter's a great place for you to get in touch with us also.
Fred Smith, Chris Shelley, Brian Robinson, Calvin Jackson, all those guys in that secondary would take your head off. That was one of those, back in those 90s. All those guys Fred Smith did come to mind when we first opened this up. He was a really tough guy. And another thing, when Leroy was talking about, I don't know, it just brought to my mind a flash, Stacy Danley. The Hall of Fame Bowl against Ohio State in 1990.
I think it's 90.
And he absolutely got decleated. And it's one of the hardest hits I've ever seen. And he did not know where he was, what state he was in, or who he played for. And they went out there on the field, and I think Dye went out there with him, and he said, "Don't give him the satisfaction." And Stanley got up and walked off the field, and just like he, didn't feel a thing, but it was one of the hardest hits. He gets a tough award for me, Stacey Danley.
888-9-TIGER-9, 334-887-3401. Sports Call AU is where you can find us on Twitter, and we've had a ton of phone calls. I normally write down a list, or I've started writing down a list so I can repeat them back out to you, but we've had so many phone calls and so many names named off today that I'm scared to do it. Yeah. One that every time I look down at this page, though, I laugh a little bit, is Nick Fairley. We'll be 50 years from now, and we're going to remember some of those suplexes Nick Fairley had in that 2010 season.
Yeah, he fits into that category. He was not only tough, he was mean. And he was the epitome of what a great SEC defensive lineman, especially defensive tackle, is. You've got to have a mean streak. You've got to have a little dirtiness to you to go down there and mix up and, as they say, give them the business a little bit. And he was the best at it.
Nick Marshall on the cover of so many different magazines. I can't name all of them.
I know the Sporting News. I know Lindy's.
All the Auburn that we want to see out there and all the talk that we're hoping to see leading into the season. And rightfully so. Nick Marshall had an eye-opening season, especially a close to the season this past season.
There's no doubt about it. He opened everybody's eyes, and you look at the progression that's being made. All the talk about a quarterback actually returning for Gus Malzahn, the goal for him to be completing 70% of his passes, somewhere between 65 and 70. They say that in practice this spring he was completing 70%. Of course, we dog him about practice, but not exactly game situations, but still good start. If he completes 70% of his passes and Auburn's running game is anywhere close to what it was last year, how could you not? I mean, who's going to take it away from him?
On the Heisman watch list, AL.com just saw that article come across. So let's go back to the phone lines. Art in Montgomery, you're on Sports Call.
Definitely tell you, David Langner, definitely probably the toughest guy I've ever seen play at Auburn. And I didn't hear Henley in the first part of the show, but did he tell any David Langner stories?
He did. He just talked about in general, nothing really specific. But he talked about. He said, Terry Henley said that he wouldn't. Toughness wasn't the first word that came to mind when he thought about David Langner, although he was extremely tough. He said mean was the first word that came to mind.
What mean is. I mean, I saw him take on the whole Alabama sideline one time. And that's true. He ran into the sideline and tried to take on the whole sideline. And also there was a recruit that came to Auburn one time. Back then they didn't have stars, but he would have been like a 5-star lineman. And they introduced him to David Langner, and the lineman looked down and said, "Is this guy, was he the manager?" And then Langner knocked him out. And when he came to, he left and never came back to Auburn again. So that's one story. I have heard a bunch of them on David Langner.
He's a name that Auburn fans during that generation talk about like he was, and that's the reason this tough word that we threw out there. I don't think that outside of being a special player like Bo Jackson and Cam Newton, I'd rather you call me tough than anything in football.
Yeah, and let me give y'all one that you've never heard. This is supposedly the meanest man to ever play in the NFL, at least in his day. His name was John Bramlett. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. I think he played for the Boston Patriots. And I've seen film of him. Everybody he hits, they don't get back up off the ground. And, I mean, some of them like Joe Namath, which you would, you can understand, they're not getting up. But he hit people like Larry Zonka and others, and when they went down, they didn't stand back up. So, mean. I'll tell you another one he did. He was a great baseball player, and he was kicked out of baseball. I mean, literally, he wasn't allowed to come to the major leagues. He was so mean.
Who is that?
John Bramlett.
Oh, John Bramlett, same player. Okay.
I think he played for Memphis State at the time. Stories are that when he walked down the streets of Memphis, the people, would walk on the other side of the street if they saw him coming. I mean, everybody was afraid of him. He wasn't that big of a guy either. He was just pure meanness.
Well, Art, we can't thank you enough for your phone call today. We appreciate it.
Okay, you're welcome.
And all the phone calls that we've had a ton of them the last few days, and that's exactly what this program is for. Football is a perfect sport. As he said that, if you're mean, if you're tough, and it's just in you, you've got friends, Andy. I got friends that I knew at about 4 and 5 years old not to mess with them. And football is an ideal way for them to release whatever demon. I don't want to call it a demon. Sometimes it's a demon inside them.
You're right. And David Langner, listed at 5'9", 170 pounds. And, in every story you hear this talk, he took on the entire sideline. He knocked somebody out. He was 170 pounds and 150 of it was mean. That's kind of, when you're built like that, you got to be. You got to develop a mean streak to you. You got to, take it to another level because like we talked about earlier, there aren't, many people out there that are those superior athletes. And, if you're just one of the other guys, how are you going to separate yourself? And like you said, and I'm not sure it's something, I think it's something that you can develop to some degree. You can get tougher. There's no doubt about that. But I don't think you can get meaner.
I think
it's just in you.
I think it's built in you. I really do. I think that there's some people that just like it. And you've been around football a lot, and I have also. And the people that come to mind were ones that I knew, again, were mean when they were very, very young. So, again, we'd love to hear from you. 888-9-TIGER-9, 334-887-3401. I had a feeling when we brought this one up that it would get a response. And, again, if there's one thing you want to be called, it's tough and mean in football.
There's no doubt about it. We're going to get to our final break. We'll be back with more on this Tuesday Sports Call.
Ever wondered what LMG can do for you? The possibilities are endless.
LMG offers custom apparel and promotional products, any type of signage and vehicle wraps, web design and internet marketing, video production, paper products, and more. Visit us online at leemarketing.net. 3 locations to best serve you: Madison Street in Alexander City, Highway 280 in Dadeville, and Frederick Road in Auburn. LMG, success by design.
In a world that's ever-changing, you have to be sure that your choices are the right choices. At Central Alabama Community College, you'll know you made the best choice. Whether choosing a technical degree program, taking courses to transfer to a 4-year college or university, or being a part of our national championship winning traditions, Central Alabama will provide you with courses and degree programs in tune with today's workplace. Central Alabama Community College, central to you, central to your success.
S&S Discount Tire on Cherokee Road in Alex City is the Lake Martin area's largest volume tire dealership and a place for everything mechanical. Weary and the S&S Tire crew are ready to serve you with double the capacity from routine oil changes to full engine overhauls and all transmission work. S&S Tire can handle it all. That's S&S Tire on Cherokee Road. Call David or Weary today at 256-215-8822. Visit S&S Discount Tire at 224 East South Street in Dadeville, now in 2 locations.
Sperlin Recycling is an Alabama-based recycling company specializing in the recycling of metal, aluminum, copper, ferrous, and non-ferrous waste. Sperlin Recycling is available for all your commercial recycling needs, including demolition, on-site scrap removal, and roll-off services. Sperlin Recycling is a family-owned corporation with several generations of experience. Call us today at 256-234-0903 and visit us online at www.sperlinrecycling.com.
Remove the hard work and confusion from growing your business with brand management and growth through Lee Marketing Group. LMG offers logo design, web development, search engine optimization, social media management, and more. Physical and virtual marketing is an amazing tool businesses need to utilize in today's economy. Stay ahead of your competition and reach new customers. Contact us today, 888-533-6758, or visit us online at leemarketing.net to learn more.
Little Cheaper says the Kelly Blue Book event is bigger and better than ever. Carl Corey's gigantic Kelly Blue Book pricing event has been extended to new vehicles. Every new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram has been discounted to Kelly Blue Book pricing to save you thousands. Shop from a huge selection of over 300 new vehicles. Purchase any new vehicle for Kelly Blue Book's fair market price. Don't miss your chance to buy any new vehicle at Kelly Blue Book pricing this week at Carl Gregory Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram.
There's no doubt that high school and college athletics rule the state of Alabama. Increase exposure for your business by spending your advertising dollars on the best sports programming in Alabama with Sports Blitz, Sportscall, and the AHSAA radio network. In a sports-hungry state like Alabama, Sports Blitz, Sportscall, and the AHSAA radio network will offer your business the best return on investment. We have packages designed to fit any budget. Call today at 256-794-8223.
Looking for the most comprehensive sports show in Alabama? Catch Sports Blitz live from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Tuesday nights. Join Brett Prtichard, Randy Lee, and Luke Robinson as they discuss the latest in high school, collegiate, and nationwide athletics. Tune in to FM Talk 95.9, watch live on ACN Charter Channel 80, or catch the live stream at sportsblitzlive.com. That's sports with a Z. That's Sports Blitz Live, Tuesday, 7 to 9 p.m.
Welcome back in to the final segment of Sports Call on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon. Andy Graham alongside Randy Lee. We'll be with you for about 8 more minutes, taking you up to the 6 o'clock hour. 887-3401 locally, or 1-888-9-TIGER-9. Still an opportunity for you to get your phone call in. Our question of the day: who is the toughest football player ever to play at Auburn, in your opinion? We've had a lot of great responses. A lot of different names. Guys that I wouldn't have thought about, guys that did come to my mind, but it's just fun to talk about.
Feel-good story. Sometimes we get tied down talking about the negatives, and it, again, is what a lot of people want to talk about, so we present it out there to you. But a feel-good story here at Auburn University, and it's going to be seen on a national level, Sean Coleman. And Sean Coleman will be on stage at Radio City Music Hall in New York for the first round of the NFL Draft, not as the next player selected, but as an advocate for a cause he believes in. It's the St. Jude's Children Research Hospital, and what a great story he is. And I'm cheering for him about as much as I've cheered for anybody with a comeback story, Andy.
Yeah, reading a little bit about this today, and just to put it in perspective, I saw the leukemia that he had, lymphoblast leukemia that he was stricken with. I read that before Children's Hospital was its inception in like 1962, the survival rate for this cancer was like 4%. Now it's like 94%. Just unbelievable. What they've been able to do, the research, and been able to treat it, find it, diagnose it early, and you see a guy like him. I go back and whether he wins the starting left tackle position or not, it's the best story in college football. If he ends up starting at left tackle for Auburn as a 22-year-old after having put his life on hold basically to deal with this, to go through chemotherapy, and as somebody who has gone through chemotherapy, it is the most awful thing that you can even think about. And for him to make a recovery like that and to come back and to have the success that he's having, it just like you said, it's a feel-good story of the year.
Just give us an idea, Andy, for those of us that are out there. Cancer is one of the, I don't think I'm saying anything that's opening any eyes. I mean, cancer is, I've seen deaths as young as you want to call it, and once you get it, you never know. I mean, if it's your time, it's your time. But just give us an idea of what he's coming back from and chemo, and how amazing it is that he is where he is.
Well, just speaking for myself, everybody I think is different, but I had to do 4 rounds of it, which is basically you go and you have treatment for 3 weeks. You take a week off, and then you come back and do it again. And I did that 4 times, but the bad thing about it is it's cumulative. And once you go through the initial round, you feel like it's not that bad, but it gets worse and worse every time. And you don't want to eat. You have no energy. Obviously, it does devastation to your immune system. And it's just for him to be able to remain in the shape that he did, and to be able to get back to 10 pounds that he is right now. Just phenomenal. Absolutely.
Called him Avatar, and he is an exceptionally good athlete that he is out there on the edge, and we'll be cheering for him. I mean, Sean Coleman is an exceptionally good athlete that hopefully we'll be seeing him in the same position that we see Greg Robinson in currently. A couple of players I don't think we'll be seeing in Greg Robinson's position are these failed drug test guys, and what a crazy story this is, Andy.
Yeah, oddly enough, 2 from LSU and 3 from Florida State. But Zach Mettenberger, kind of the headline, him and Timmy Jernigan, Anthony Johnson actually too. But the Zach Mettenberger one, he produced what they call diluted urine sample, and he says, his physical therapist says that he has a hydration problem. He's been drinking a gallon of water a day, and that's obviously why the test is diluted. Now the NFL usually just creates or deems a diluted sample as a positive test, and you're seeing Jernigan saying the same thing. Oh yeah, I've just been drinking a lot of water. Is the test that subjective? Is it that big of a problem? I mean, can we not just say, hey, well, don't drink a gallon of water tomorrow and we'll do the test? Let's just clear this up right now. But if Zach Mettenberger didn't do anything wrong, this is going to hurt his draft status. I heard people on ESPN today, general managers saying if I see a positive test like this, I take them off my draft board altogether. So it's interesting to see. It'll be how it turns out.
I hate to close it this way, but we will. It's been a tough week to be a Braves fan, Andy.
1 week ago, I think we were sitting here in this very room, and I said, "Boy, the Braves look like one of the best teams in the country in Major League Baseball," and they did. And then 7 games later, they have not won a game, and they get swept by the Marlins, they get swept by the Giants, they lose to the Cardinals last night, 4-3. The pitching against the Marlins was terrible, but overall the pitching has not been terrible. They just can't hit. The hitting has gone south. They've had trouble hitting with runners in score position all year. and it doesn't look like it's going to get any better. Gavin Floyd making his season debut tonight. Maybe that'll give him a spark, get him off the schneid a little bit. He's going against Tyler Lyons. He's 0-2 with a 4.20 ERA, so not exactly a Cy Young he's going up against.
And with the Braves and with Auburn, it's much the same on both fronts. And we set a number last week, and I'm not sure after the weekend series for the SEC, but 44 home runs lead the league. Alabama had 34 going into last weekend. Auburn with 13. Not much you can do to produce runs when you're not. I mean, when you're hitting the ball out of the park, it's an easy way to get them in, Andy. I know we're up against the end. It's been a fun show.
It has been. Auburn baseball about to kick off with Bethune-Cookman at 6 o'clock. The SEC softball tournament begins tomorrow. Auburn plays South Carolina at 5:30 on ESPNU. Go ahead and check that out. That's going to do it for us on this edition of Sports Call. We appreciate so much our calls and all of our those about you listening. For Randy Lee, my name is Andy Graham, saying so long for now. We'll talk again soon.